with you, I was, we talked about it a little bit, but if you could let people know, like, I honestly, you are the Indian version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like,
No.
if you go to Mumbai and you're looking for Arnold, it is Shan. He's very, very humble, but competing in Mr. India, competing in Mr. Mumbai, Mr. Asia Pacific. Shan, you are like, I had Arnold pictures all over my wall when I was 13, 14. And I said to myself, I want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, I wanted to be Mr. T. Now I want to be Arnold. But these were the things. When I met you and I saw the way you posed, I saw those poses before, Shan. I know that those
Yeah.
are not always originals. Arnold had a heavy influence on you. Buddy, that's what you were destined to do. Did you always know that you were destined for the life that you live?
I did not know 3 years back that I would be in Newfoundland, actually. So no, actually, but I always figured out that I would be doing some sort of bodybuilding because I was very much built for it. I think I would just share one of the smaller
Please.
stories back in the day. I think I was 15. I was in the gym, first day at the gym, and the first exercise I chose to do was seated calf raises. So usually I saw people with 245-pound plates on in there, and I think I just loaded it up with 4 of them that filled up the machine. And I was like, let's see what happens. Two things could have happened. One, I tear my calf. Two, you just rep it out. And I think I repped it out pretty easily for 12, 15 reps. First exercise, never seen it, how it happens. Just have seen someone a couple of minutes back doing it. I was like, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Now, mind you, I was a fat kid, but my first coach back then, who works for as a fire officer right now in the New Bombay state, he spotted me. He says, "Look, I'm going to coach you. You got to follow what I say. I'm going to give you the nutrition and my coaching. There's no money involved. There's no money involved. I don't want anything from you, but make sure that if you find the right student in the future, you got to spread this art." That's how he viewed it. And I was more into powerlifting back then. So I think I put some pretty good lifts, I would say, for my weight. I think 500 for 3 squats, 500 for 1 deadlift, 400 for 3, 405 for 3 benches. But I realized like this is not the sport that I want to do in the future. But I always enjoyed lifting. So, and he told me like, you could rep out these weights pretty easily. So why would you not try bodybuilding? And at this point, I've been training, like fast forward to 6 years, I've been training for 6 years now. So hour and a half to 2 hours of training every day for 6 days a week, that roughly adds to around 4,000 hours of training. That doesn't go anywhere. It stays with you. Like even at this point, like even if somebody didn't train for a year because of COVID, let's just say, but you've been training 9, 10 years previously, that stays with you, right? So it stayed with me, and got onto the show, and I was 20 and a half something, but I'm pretty sure I do remember selecting the forms in Mr. Bombay, and Mr. Mumbai and Mr. Delhi are the most prestigious shows and competitive shows, because one's the financial capital and one is the capital of India. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do the open category. Let's not cap myself with being a junior, because juniors are usually 22 and under. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the senior show. Let's see what happens. And obviously, I did not compete in the juniors category, and ended up winning, bringing a bronze home. But I think that bronze medal got me more recognition. I think I was on some provincial news channels and stuff like that. And I was like, this does not happen to everyone. So I might have done something correct. And I think that got me more buzz than just if I would have won juniors gold, for that matter. And like, oh, this 20-year-old guy just popped up out of nowhere against these veterans who've been training for like decades, and he wins. So I think there's a very big genetic component to it. So I did that, got an invitation to India, but I got flu basically. So I was having like 101 fever, and it's just stayed with me. And I had 2 options. Doctor said like, hey, stop it. And I was like, I'm not going to stop. You tell me how to get work around this stuff. And most of them denied. I had to change a couple of physicians, but we worked around through it. And I was like, if I don't go to the stage, it's automatically an L. It is a loss for me mentally. and that would be quote unquote my first loss, which I did not even get to compete in. So I'm going to do it. So traveled all the way. I had my parents accompany me. Usually brown parents, they usually like to see you do some professional stuff like architecture, law, engineers. And here I was,
Doctor. Yes.
doctors for that matter. And here I was bodybuilding, but they figured out that, this is something unique. This is like a gift from God, and genetics are something not that you can choose and pick from. It's either you have it or you don't have it. Like the same thing we're talking about posing, right? The shoulder to waist ratio. How are your muscle insertions? How quickly you lose fat, gain muscle, how your body metabolizes food, nutrition partitioning. We eat the same amount of rice and chicken, and it's gonna look different on different people. That is something that worked very well for me. So I was like, this is the sport I want to do. And again, I'm not denying like the several thousand hours of training that goes behind it. But I think when you love something, like we've always connected on this point specifically, like we love doing something, we put our heart and soul into it, the process becomes easier.